We're having a party here in the studio. Miss Sherry is over there. She's stirring up the curry and she's stirring up lots of fun. Look at that. Look at that cleaver she's got. Oh, hello. Is that lemongrass you're chopping up?
This is lemongrass. So I'm slicing it really thinly so it's going to look like this.
Oh, yes.
And then once I have everything together, like the galanga and then garlics, kaffir leaf, like all the ingredients, then I will put in the mortar here.
All right.
Usually it's a bit bigger than this, but for the TV.
All right, so in segment 4, baby, we're coming to you.
Yep,
for the
I'm
good
making
grinding.
a paste.
Yes.
Making a paste.
With me now on the couch are 2 individuals that they are everywhere, and not because they work for Downtown on the Go, because their office is the downtown. Please join me in welcoming back Tracy Oster. You are still the executive director of Downtown on the Go. It's so great to have you back on the comfy couch. It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah, but thanks for having us. It's
You
great to be
betcha.
back.
This woman with the amazing name, Laura, and then Swan Zarek.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Do we know what Swan Zarek means?
Oh, I have no idea.
You know what it means? It means a woman with a beautiful smile. We'll just make something up and we'll go along with that. You are the Downtown on the Go advocacy manager and also the what does CTR stand for?
CTR stands for Commute Trip Reduction. It's a state program that we run on behalf of City of Tacoma to mitigate the impacts of commuters all commuting to the same place, same time, every day.
I love that. Your predecessor, who now serves on the city council, Christina Walker, she was always so on that, and it makes me so happy that you guys have not missed a beat. You just picked it up and continued to run with it. So if people don't know what is Downtown on the Go, Tracy, what do we say to them?
Well, Downtown on the Go, we are Tacoma's nonprofit transportation advocacy organization. And what that means is we provide resources and programs and education around transportation issues in the greater Tacoma area. And we advocate for policies that make it easier for all of us to get around without a car.
There it is.
That's
so
it.
when you talk about advocacy, because people might be thinking, well, who do you advocate to? Or what does that look like? Can you give us a bigger picture?
Sure. Well, we advocate pretty much wherever we're needed. So mostly with City of Tacoma. So with the council and such, we also do some work with the county council. And then when we're watching different issues and policies and stuff, we'll give comment or we'll write comment either in support or maybe it's something we don't want to see happen.
Right.
So that's kind of how that works.
I love that. So you are glued to that city council, aren't you? And the city council is always talking about how we move around our city, how to make it more walkable, how to lower barriers for people so they can have quality of life, and also the cost of living goes down if you don't have to own a car and you have great transportation. So Laura, what are the advocacy priorities for 2024?
Yeah, so like Tracy said, we're working to make it easier, safer, more accessible to walk, bike, and use transit in Tacoma. And the big question that we're often asking, our biggest priorities are safety and access. Can people get where they need to go? Can they get there safely?
Yes.
And so we often kind of provide a user perspective as people who actually walk, bike, and use transit. We're providing that perspective to City Council on projects and policies to ensure that what the city's putting forward from the very beginning includes the perspectives of people who are traveling outside of cars.
Thank you.
Yeah, because without that, we end up with projects that don't work for everybody who needs to get around Tacoma, and often the people who have the most trouble getting where they need to go already. So we want to ensure that everything that we create is great the first time around. We can always redo projects, but that's a lot more complicated than ensuring that they are going to work for everybody from the very beginning.
The who and the why you pretty much have nailed down.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like the programs just bloom out of that, which is so huge. I mean, when you think about, like, for instance, our light rail that's just gone in, the link that's gone in. I mean, we are changing the way we move around this city constantly, and it It is wonderful. I mean, I love seeing people who could not drive a car or maybe don't want to drive a car be able to go anywhere they want to go in this city and also into Seattle. It's quite fabulous. You host something called Friday Forums. It sounds like a great play. And you are a part of, they're a part of advocacy efforts. Tell us about those Fridays. How do we get involved? What do you cover? All of that.
Yeah, so we've been hosting Friday Forums for a long time now. I want to say 8 or 9 years. We do these every winter, so they're an opportunity to bring together subject matter experts, community leaders, community members to come together in conversation around topics related to transportation. So for example, this year our theme is we're exploring what it means to build stronger communities. And we're doing that through conversations on health equity, on youth mobility, and housing affordability.
There we go.
So what we're trying to do is get information to people so that people are interested, they're asking the right questions, they're going the right places to get involved on moving us towards a Tacoma that everybody can feel at home in.
Absolutely.
And we actually have one more Friday Forum this year, tomorrow on March 29th. It's on affordable housing and density. We have an excellent panel of speakers. We've had kind of our pre-conversation with them, and they've got some really incredible things to say, exploring like how we think about affordable housing and the housing crisis in Tacoma, how that connects with transportation and how people get around. It's going to be a great conversation. And if folks are watching this after the fact, we do have all of the forums from the last 4 years recorded on our website at downtownonthego.org. So you can still listen to the conversation there and hopefully learn something new and get involved.
That is fantastic. And you know, you used a word that I think some people may go, how does that tie into transportation? You used the word equity. Can you give us an example of something that is not equitable that we have changed?
Sure. So I'll give you kind of a context of what we think about with equity in our work a lot. Often we're looking at historic and systemic disinvestment. So low income and communities of color are often lacking in safe infrastructure. So lack of complete connected sidewalks or safe bike facilities or transit lanes or transit routes that will take you to services rather than just to like job centers. So it creates a situation where people become more and more dependent on cars and are also in an environment that is unsafe to be in without a car. So it's kind of this lose-lose situation. So we're looking at how do we address that systemic disinvestment in these neighborhoods, and how do we ensure that projects moving forward are addressing that and not actually perpetuating them. So we want projects that are going where they are the most needed, not necessarily where they are the easiest to implement.
Both of you are on that that pulse of the double whammy of unhousedness, but also lack of housing. And then that ties into the equity and the accessibility that we are still struggling. It's a daily thing that we do here, but we are addressing it. When we think about programs or events, Tracy, that are coming up that will help us understand how, like for instance, Laura was so clear with that answer about how does equity tie in. So what other events or programs do you have coming up that will help educate us so we will be a part of the solution? We are educated and we have something to say about this.
Well, one of the other things that we like to do is we like to just kind of educate the general public, and so we do organized walks and bike rides and things like that so they can see the infrastructure, they can see the sidewalk systems, they can see what bike lanes look like. And we're about ready to kick off our 15th year of our walk series.
What a great graphic.
And we've got a lot of great walks coming up, and these walks are 1 to 2 mile walks. They're organized, they're led by local area experts. And you can see our first one is coming up on April 17th. It's a behind the scenes theater walk. And so that'll be a fun way to kind of, for folks to get to walk around Theater District and see what's behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yes.
That's April 17th, and that's, the registration is open for that now.
Okay.
The information for all the rest of them is on our website, and it's just a great way for folks to get to be in communities and areas and neighborhoods that they might not necessarily go to.
Right.
And there's just something different about when you're walking through a space as opposed to driving through it. So that's a really fun time. Then we're gearing up to get ready to start Bike Month. And so switching from walking, right? So May is Bike Month, and there's a lot of activities in the city during Bike Month. And we'll start off with the bike swap, and then there's bike bingo and bike to work and bike to the market and all kinds of fun, they're fun things to do, but also again, it educates people about the infrastructure in these different spaces and
Absolutely.
stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would have a million questions about the bike lanes and
Right.
what are the rules of the bike lanes so my car doesn't break those rules. Last 50 seconds, who do we need to thank? Sponsors?
Well, yeah. So we do rely on sponsors. We the events that we put on are free to put on for anybody who wants to join us. However, they're not free for us.
That's
so
right.
we're always looking for new sponsors. We partner closely with City of Tacoma, Pierce Transit, Sound Transit, the Tacoma Chamber. Those are our major partners. And then we also partner a lot with local nonprofits. None of these things that we do by ourselves. We do within the community, depending on what the topic is. And so it's just important that folks know that, hey, if you've got an idea or if you're in an organization that you think overlaps with us, which I think they almost all do.
They all do, yes.
Then let us know. We're always open to new ideas
Thank
for that.
you. I want to say thank you to both of you for being here. We couldn't get your whole team on the couch, but thank you again so much for the vision and the accessibility that you give us on a daily basis. And I want you back on the couch sooner than later, okay?
We'll be here.
All right.
Thanks, Amanda.
We are going to have Daffodil Royalty in the house when we come back from this break, and Sherry continues to make our studios smell great. We'll be right back.